This is episode 25 of me sitting down once a week to talk about life and business. Welcome back to Monday Diaries. Oh my god, that's super loud, isn't it? I gotta move somewhere else. Okay, I'm back home because that wasn't working. And as always, this is going to be a one-take update. I'm just going to brain dump what's been happening in life and work and any lessons I've learned along the way and see where it takes us. So if you have a short attention span, go watch the POV videos, Thursday videos on the screen right now. And yeah, let's jump into it. So out of Monday's update on the screen right now, we have had 140 applications for the community, which is up 11 from last week. Again, most of those coming from YouTube, so thanks crew for that. We are at 26 members, which is unchanging from last time I checked in. We open doors once a month. $3 million in revenue and 25 years old is the average of the members that are inside, just to give you scope of who's involved. And they're all lifestyle founders, essentially people who are building cool shit online, but also care about life beyond work and balance as well. Personal brand growth stats on screen. We're at 1,812 subs on YouTube, which is up 83 from last week. We were at 153.6K on Instagram, which went up 1,000, went down nearly 600. And I have ditched daily videos until further notice. So in the effort of being transparent, I wanted to do daily reels, and I got through a week and then I had an offline day and then I just dropped the ball and didn't pick it back up again. And the reality was it just wasn't a priority for me. And I'd still like to keep up with it to some extent, but maybe bit off more than I could chew. And I tend to do that, I have, especially while traveling and other stuff going on, I tend to be more aspirational than I should with stuff like that. So reeling it back a little bit, no pun intended. And yeah, do want to keep that up because I think just building a personal brand in general is one of the greatest things you can do beyond your work, because you could have several different projects and businesses come along and go, but the thing you always have is your personal reputation and your social reputation, really. So always going to focus on that, and something I'm actually going to lean more into is talking on the topics that I care about: self-improvement, business, online business, and just like lifestyle design. So all those things kind of going to lean more into Dan Coe's style, and write a newsletter, probably short form content on Twitter and LinkedIn, and then obviously this YouTube stuff too. So that's all yet to come, but you guys will see that roll out. Where was I? TikTok, 322.1K, which is down about 193 followers total. Nothing unexpected there. In terms of energy and an honest update, a little bit of a head cold right now, so energy is not skyrocketing, but also probably a bit of anxiety and apprehension coming into this week. We have a bunch of our member calls. So for those who don't know, we get on monthly calls with small groups of founders, and it's a bit like group therapy, and we try to facilitate conversation and make sure everyone's getting value. And I think that's what really weighs on me, because I really feel that pressure to make sure everyone gets value from those calls. And if they're showing up for 2 or 3 hours, which some of them go for, I want to make that worthwhile. And so I bear a lot of that weight, and facilitating these calls takes a lot of energy and focus. And for some reason, when they get booked in, like a week leading up to it, I'm just like anxious more than I typically am, and it throws my whole week. I'm not in flow. I'm not thinking creatively, and it's something that really needs to be solved, because it shouldn't be the case. And as much, we do feedback forms after every call. We make sure we hear from the people inside, and across the board, it's like consistently high. But I just put a lot of pressure on myself probably to make them worthwhile every single time. And we do 5 of them now, so a month. So that's 15 up to 15 hours of my time, including prep and energy. So anyway, that's something that we actually do have a solution for, which I'll talk about in a second. Otherwise, outside of that, there's some other things that have jumped up. There's a tax situation with my previous business that I wasn't aware of. And if it's true, I'm waiting on confirmation of this. I thought I was on top of it and everything was sorted, but it potentially could be significant, and it would really throw me if that actually is the case. So I'll share more about that if and when it comes up. But that's on my mind, as well as just, some things feel slow. Sometimes our community growth even feels slow at times, and the chats and whatnot. And everyone's got their things, and everyone's everyone's focused on their own lives, and that's fair. And it's in those times of slowness that you really got to double down, because that's where you're made or broken. So that's my focus right now. Important to note the periods that you feel flat, because it's not all highs. It's I guess particularly on YouTube and stuff, it seems fun, and we're jumping from founder house to founder house and just traveling the world and all these things. But there's so much that weighs on you in that process as well. And so you just get thrown being on the road, and you have a lot less time to yourself. I can't even remember the last time I just spent a day to myself, or half a day even. And that catches up to you. I'm not really training that much, working out. There's a fair bit of walking and whatnot, but none of it's the style of training I like. So all of these things just contribute to your mental health. So just something I'm conscious of and wanted to share transparently with you guys. Outside of that, big win of the week. We are actually in comms from a facilitator standpoint, and some people potentially to come in and really level up in that space, which frees up my mind space, but also really adds value to our members, because they're much better facilitators than I am, relatively speaking, and I have a lot to learn from them too. So if that all lines up and goes ahead, then that's going to be an exciting move going forwards. We also hired another VA on performance, so she's someone that watches a lot of our content. She's probably watching this right now, and yeah, just more people that are very aligned with our mission coming in and being willing to make sacrifices to be a part of it. So that's really cool. Just a lot of probably smaller tasks we can get off our minds, and also help with some lead gen and that sort of thing. So that's happening. A big lesson from this week, to be honest, go watch my last video where I talked about living with millionaires for a month. And a little bit clickbaity, but not really, because most people are 7-figure founders, but I knew the word millionaires would capture attention. And in that video, I broke down the 8 things that I'd learned during that month, running the founder houses and living with these people, and really fascinating. Some real gold in there. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it, and let me know what you think in the comments. In terms of a challenge from this week, I mean, I mentioned a handful of them before, but one kind of overarching thing is that this building from scratch thing, I've done it a few times now, building something new, and that 0 to 1 period has limitations. It really does. Transparently, Evan and I pay ourselves $2,500 a month each, which is below minimum wage for the hours that we put in, and not nearly enough to cover my living expenses, or his, I assume, but he's got some other stuff going on. And interesting, because me being all in on this, in a position where I have a lot less cash flow than I have in the past, I have less liberties. I can do less than I previously was used to, and that means your lifestyle has to change for a period of time, and we're willing to do that and willing to make those sacrifices while we build this, but it's still part of it, and I wanted to share that openly too. I'm not sitting here claiming I got money coming out of my ears, because that definitely isn't the case. And I've built a few things in the past, lost money on one of them, the other one stepped away from. So it's I'm sitting here with probably a lot of experience, and in some senses, and skill sets, but not necessarily that payoff yet. If it is money that you're chasing, for me, it's much beyond that. But money is an enabler, and I think it creates opportunities for people. So that's why it's relevant. But yeah, that's one thing I thought was worth sharing. And finally, one thing to ponder is the thing that you're doing right now in alignment with where you want to go holistically in your life? If you really zoom out, if you're really, really honest with yourself. That's it from me, guys. More of an honest one this week. I hope you resonate with it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hope you start fucking with Mondays too. See you in the next one. Peace.